My friends, welcome. I have a challenge for you that I hope will stretch and grow you this week. I want you to adopt and embrace the habit of seeking truth no matter the source. What's that mean? I've spoken a few times about the great polarization in our society, which extends to great polarization in our community. I've spoken about goodness and badness, and the idea that dualism doesn't really serve us in our practice. In order to enable that, in order to liberate your mind, you're going to have to be able to seek truth no matter where it comes from. Most politically charged discussions that exist today, that result in arguing with perfect strangers on Facebook, come from a deep immersion and walling up, almost like an incubation, in our favorite news sources. If you believe a certain thing, there's certain news sources you're going to read, and they're going to amplify your beliefs. They're going to justify them. They're going to report on the stories that support and enhance the views that you already hold. And social media only makes it worse. Algorithms that detect what you like and give you more of what you like so that you'll like it more. Well, what comes of that? It puts people and their thinking into containers where they no longer seek truth. We talk about the idea of red teaming. Red teaming a concept, trying to find its holes, its gaps, trying to tear it down on purpose to see if it will withstand the experience of being in the real world with real customers, with real desires and wants. But when was the last time we red teamed an idea? When was the last time we were comfortable asking, what if this was wrong? Could this be incorrect? Have I really looked at all of the sources? Have I balanced my inputs and given real consideration to what could be true versus what could be baloney? Well, a balanced view is ideal, maybe too ideal, when we think about personal politics, but what about our agile politics? Does such a thing exist? Of course it does. We frequently have discussions about what's best. We frequently hold beliefs about what will work and what won't, which are good things. I think agile practitioners should be passionate. I think they should learn and embrace ideas. However, you should never stop learning and embracing new ideas. The minute we've accepted something and tested something and really wrapped our heads around it, we should be seeking new knowledge. We should be asking questions about what's really true. Where's our information coming from? Have we tested it? Have we challenged it? Have we red teamed it? A great example is estimation. In my past 20 plus years of experience in the project management field, estimates have been everything from a shot in the dark to highly scientific methods like function points with backsliding and all other kinds of things that ended up going nowhere, to t-shirt sizing and story points. All of these things are different approaches on a spectrum. In this case, to help solve the problem of how big is a bread box? What am I going to get and when am I likely to get it? And over time, each of these approaches has given way to a different approach. We're at the point now where people reject or scoff at story point estimation. Story point estimation was quite brilliant in that it allows us to approach uncertainty and sizing, not as a function of hours, but as a function of relative complexity, using a sliding scale where the smaller it is, the more accurate we can be, and the bigger it is, the more chunky the estimate's likely to be. So it taught us that the only way to approach excellence in estimation is to take your best shot, minimize the cost of producing estimates, don't put too much stock in their value, estimate for the next sprint or two, and everything else is just a dart on the dartboard somewhere. We'll know more when we know more. We learned a lot from that. So if its time has come and we move on to something better, or we move on to no estimates at all, I think that's a good thing, but that would never happen if people didn't challenge the accepted norms. If there's only one way, then when the market changes or people change, that way will follow the dinosaur. So make sure you seek truth. How do you do that? Stay involved in communities that frequently challenge ideas that push back on accepted norms. Don't keep listening to the same sources that keep saying the same things over and over. If I were to go back through my podcast history and listen to some early episodes, I know I'd find myself contradicting something I said 2-3 years ago. And that's great. You can't be afraid of that. You have to be willing to accept that your opinions change as you experience more, as you learn more. It's tempting. There are so many resources that we trust to take the pain and effort out of learning, out of creating a worldview that holds, that can stand up to examination. So when someone has an idea and they know how to express it forcefully, we tend to believe them. We tend to accept it. And if it vaguely mirrors our own experiences, all the better. But then we fail to look for more truth. We fail to continuously examine and experiment and measure to make sure that what we already believe isn't just a skewing of the numbers, but is either universally true or is constantly changing and constantly subject to improvement. If we don't do this as a practice, we run the risk of standing still and going stale. And it's funny how often we look at our customers, especially those who are still mired in waterfall, and we judge them. We judge them for not being able to see how great Agile is, for not being able to see the future, not being able to see how the world has changed. And yet, are we really so different? And if the communities and the environments where you learn and listen are not helping you grow by stretching and testing the limits of what we accept to be true, then it's on you to challenge the ideas yourself, to question. We used to think that the sun rose every day because someone pulled it across the sky in a chariot. What would happen if we still believed that? What will we not have access to if we were unwilling to see the truth, no matter the source? We owe our customers this. We owe the community this. And we owe the art and science of agility this kind of thirst for truth. My friends, wonderful to see you. You can reach out at badassagile.com. You can find me on Twitter at badass_agile and on Instagram at badassagile. I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, stay badass.